And can you imagine fumbling multiple generations of women all because you think that they shouldn't have bodily autonomy?
Do you consent to a second date?
Do I have a last question? Who did you vote for?
Trump. But with that comes a lot of things.
Heart is broken. I enjoyed my evening with you, but I have to stick to my morals and my principles.
Conservative men are literally like, my politics are like stopping me from getting laid because when women find out that I just don't think they should have like rights and I just perceive them as like walking baby machines or sex objects, then they don't like me anymore and they don't want to have sex with me. So like, can we just talk about something else? No, we're gonna talk about this and you're gonna have to explain yourself.
Tell me, what are some of those red flags?
They have strong values. I'm Republican.
Conservative, yeah.
Conservative values, Christian values.
Okay.
Very important.
Okay.
Recent articles show that Trump staffers in DC are having a hard time finding dates. Again, yeah, this happened in his first term too. And there's something deeply ironic about a party pushing for a conservative baby-making agenda that can't get laid. But all jokes aside, I really think that the biblical traditional family push and the inability to find partners are linked. Because while women are constantly blamed for the falling birth rate and marriage rates, etc., at the end of the day, this has to do with male loneliness. Yeah, patriarchy bites men in the ass too. Did you not see Barbie? We all know that dating is more partisan than ever. In DC alone, the number of singles who want to match within their own party jumped from 45% to 58% after inauguration. Across the country, 73% of college-educated women are less likely to date a Trump supporter, and more men are going right and women going left. So even if MAGA is in the majority, straight young men are left with fewer and fewer options to date. I mean, this was obvious even a few years ago when apps like The Right Stuff couldn't even get female users, not even when they offered free premium subscriptions. So men's only community becomes this echo chamber of hating women who won't date them and masculinity. The thing is, their version of masculinity usually just means dominance.
And this is why conservative men are having the toughest time dating right now, because never before has your vote told a woman exactly what she needed to know about you. She doesn't have to wonder if you're a misogynist. You voted for one. She doesn't have to ask you, how do you feel about women's rights, immigration, Medicare, Social Security, free lunch for low-income kids, racism, feminism. Without even having to go on a single date with you, you told her everything she needs to know. That's why that woman only needed to hear you answer that question for her to realize it's a hard pass. And a lot of women are giving you men a hard pass for the same reason. Because even if you say, no, I did it because of the economy, what you're saying is profits over people. You're saying even if you have more than enough, you wouldn't dare help somebody who needs it.
They speak liberal, they have liberal friends, and then they go online and they are a white supremacist. Pure men I've ever sat down with. It was really difficult to have some of these dates because they were so insecure, because they don't really know who they are and they don't know how to figure that out.
She said the men she dated got all their news and information from the so-called manosphere.
They did not listen to anything else. They're only listening to independent media and they're only listening to men talking to men. They love the UFC guys. They love the MMA guys because those guys do what they can. They're modern gladiators. They're badass.
What's up with guys trying to hide their political preference these days? Like, I've got a friend and she was gonna go on a date with this guy. We found his Instagram. His whole closet is, what's it called? Like wolves, not sheep. Like super right wing. All of his posts are American flag related, whatever. She asks him where he stands and he's like, oh, I'm not political. Your Instagram says otherwise. Your story post about Donald Trump and Elon Musk and this and that says otherwise. Like, stand on business if you're about it. But as soon as you want to go on a date with a girl, it's, I'm apolitical, I'm not really into all of that, I don't know what's going on, all parties are the same. Really? I thought we were wolves, not sheep. Like, what's up with that?
Being a straight white dude that likes Trump but is only into liberal women is a lot like being in the closet. Because it's like they're going to ask you about it eventually. And you have to say what we all say, which is, yeah, I don't really follow politics. But like, there's levels to this, man. You got to be discreet. You got to be really good at it. And it's not that hard once you get used to it. You just like lie a lot. If you can just lie really well to liberal women and just like make them think that you aren't really into politics, and everything works out. It's totally fine.
I don't think I need to waste my breath explaining why what he is suggesting is unethical and wrong, and moreover, why multiple men saying things like this online is actually backing up the claims liberal women make about Trump and the kinds of men who would support him. If you are starting off a relationship based on lies, particularly lies around your core values, then you are foregoing her ability to actually consent to you, and you are a sleaze.
If you voted for somebody who repeatedly bashes marginalized groups of people, bashes minorities, bashes women, has no respect for them at all, yeah, that says a lot about your character, and that's unattractive to most women because that's an ugly trait to have. It shows that you condone those behaviors. Young women are shifting more left, and if you continuously shift more right in response to that rhetoric, then yeah, it makes you more unattractive to them.
The way that young men in this country got it into their heads that voting for Trump and voting against the rights of women would make them tough guys, so bonkers to me. Nothing could be further from the truth. And I know a lot of you are going to say 52% of white women voted for Trump too, and 52% of white women should cross to the other side of the fucking street if they see me coming. I will deal with them in my own way. But right now, I want to speak to the young men. And I just want to ask, do you think that the Punisher would be okay with the government trying to control his wife's body? Seriously, this is a thought experiment. Do you think Frank Castle, the Punisher, the super tough badass you all pretend to be in your fantasies, do you think he would just sit back and take it when the government tried to control his wife's body? Or another one of your heroes, do you think Thomas Shelby would be okay with men in power forcing the woman he loves into a life-threatening medical procedure that she doesn't want? Do you think that John Wick would be okay watching his wife bleed out from a miscarriage in a fucking parking lot because she can't get a termination of pregnancy procedure to save her life? Because I don't think they would.
So you know how there are those people who are breaking up with their boyfriends because their boyfriends voted for Trump, and everybody's like, oh, well, it's just politics. People can have differing opinions. No. Yes, people can have different opinions, but not when it comes to human rights. Like, different opinions when it comes to, like, pizza toppings, or, like, what's your favorite ice cream flavor, or, like, what's your favorite color. Like, different opinions, yeah, that's completely valid. Like, you can't be racist or sexist or homophobic and just be like, oh, well, it's just my opinion. Like, no, it's not an opinion. It's just, you're just being a bigot.
I need the Republican men to hop on their burners and give me a quick explanation as to why they won't stick to their own kind. I live in Washington, D.C., and with every new administration comes new people. And one would think with the whole, 92% thing and just, the general partisan makeup of this city, very Democratic, one would just assume where I stood. Also, I'm not walking around town in a cheap polyblend suit wearing a cubic zirconian cross around my neck. Those are your people. Those are your girls. But okay, fine. Approach me. One cannot blame you for having taste. When I make it clear where I stand, and then I ask you where you stand, why the beating around the bush? Why the avoidance? And in general, what is the obsession with wanting to date liberal women? Liberal men aren't going after conservative women. Conservative women, does this not piss you off? You don't have liberal men pretending like they voted for Trump in order to get you out on a date, to buy you dinner. Why do conservative men do this?
What's your political identification?
I would consider myself a left-leaning moderate.
And how do you feel about Republicans?
I think there's a big difference between Republicans and Trump supporters, though.
What's the difference?
I think that Republicans kind of pride themselves on conservative values. I don't think they run on hate, but in contrast, I do think the Trump campaign runs itself on hate.
And would you be friends with a Trump supporter?
Yes, only if they were receptive to education.
And would you date one?
No.
Why not?
I am a pansexual woman of color, and I think from what I have seen in the Trump campaign, I don't think I could be with someone whose values ever aligned with those. I just think that would be really disrespectful to myself.
By now, everyone has seen or heard of the fact that conservative men are struggling in dating in this political climate. Here's a fucking thought. Change your mind. Be open to changing your mind. It's not that deep. I know mommy and daddy will be very upset if you so much as open your mind even slightly, but it's okay. It's okay. So here's a couple of takes on this. Number one, there's a lot of girls stitching saying if that they see that a man is conservative on a dating app, it's a double right. And I have a one up on that. If I see if a man is a double C, I call it a double hit, a Christian conservative, fuck no. Because that doesn't happen overnight. That goes to show me that you come from a long line of Christian nationalists who are on board with Project 2025. That's immediately what I jump to. That tells me it's not just you, it's me, because we would not get along. I would open my mouth and you'd be leaving the dining room table. It's all right. It's all right. We'll just move along. Number 2, these men don't even know what they believe. They don't even know what they believe. I saw a quote the other day, can't even remember where I heard it, but it was someone saying that there's a difference between what you are taught and what you believe. And I find that through and through with these conservative men. These conservative men oftentimes have no idea what they even believe in, because I no longer argue with people on either far side of the aisle because they're just too far gone. So what I do is ask why? Why? What policies, what procedures, what evidence suggests that that was a good move have you found? That that's a good reason to do that? And they can never answer me. They can never answer me. Or the answer is solely lied and hating on the other side. So when you ask a conservative man about a policy and he talks about, well, fucking Joe Biden, fuck Joe Biden. I'm like, okay, yep. Joe Biden's a war criminal. Like, we get that. Like, he needs to be impeached. He doesn't even know where he is. He just Roombas around. We get it. But what will your side do to fix that? All of it. Always Hunter Biden, Nancy Pelosi, and Hillary Clinton. Like, can we just fucking get over that? My God. Oh, and Obama, too. They love that. But if your political opinion doesn't lie in research and or you can't back it up, come correct, stand on business with your political opinion, and or it lies in hating the other side, your political opinion is null and void to me. You literally, like, you don't even have a political opinion to me. You don't even get to have a political opinion. They're that political alliance because it is the alpha male thing to do. It is beta to be a liberal man. It is rooted in hating and control of women. And that is the only thing that they have to hold on to in that political alliance. Women are going to have political opinions. We're going to have strong ones. It's not the 1950s no longer, bruv. No longer. And I will not shut my mouth. I will never shut my mouth. And I will absolutely not shut my mouth for a man. We are out here begging men to take a look in the mirror, and they are not. And they will not.
Men don't hate powerful women. They want to domesticate us. In the same way that they see a wild animal that they want to turn into a house pet, that is what they want to do to women who are against the status quo. Women who are outspoken, who have a lot of money, and who do things that are not associated with traditional femininity are absolutely a threat to men. Which is why you will see so many conservative men constantly swiping on liberal women on dating apps. They know that we want nothing to do with them, and they see that as a challenge. Because their ultimate goal isn't just to find a wife. They don't want someone who already loves them and is already subservient to them. Instead, they want to take a woman who would never consider that lifestyle and break her down to the point where she is then his servant, where she cooks all his meals, where she stays in the home, where she births his kids. That is their fantasy. And that is why right-wing red pill content is so popular right now. Because at the end of the day, they have a white knight fucking fantasy that they can go in and rescue women from all their responsibilities and tame them and get them to behave like true women. And that's fucking disgusting. And that is why I will never, ever go back on a dating app, because every single man that swipes on me falls into this category.
You are too close-minded since you won't date someone just because they voted for Trump. That is what my client said to me. So my client and I were having a conversation, and she is still adamant that this man that she wants to set me up with would be perfect for me, and we would be a perfect couple if I could just get over this one little thing. And I said, it's not a little thing. It's a huge thing. It's a deal breaker for me. Absolutely. And she just kept telling me that I was being too close-minded. Too close-minded. And I said, absolutely not. I'm not being close-minded because it's a deal breaker. He voted for a rapist, which tells me that he is willing to bend on morals and values that I hold dear. And he's willing to allow someone to break the law and assault people because it will still benefit him in some way. So he's willing to vote for a rapist because he's still going to financially benefit from the taxes that Trump has. I don't want to be around someone like that. It tells me I'm not safe around that person because that's not a deal breaker for him. My daughters aren't safe around that person because that's not a deal breaker for him. I said, it's not being closed-minded to have a boundary that anyone who's willing to compromise morals and values and anyone who's willing to accept sexual assault on women, racism, misogyny, homophobia, all of these things. If someone's willing to accept those things from a person because they're going to benefit in some way, I don't want to be around those people. They're not safe. I'm not safe around them. Neither are my kids. So I guess I'll be a close-minded motherfucker because I am not entertaining or dating anyone who voted for Trump.
So I've been posting a lot about the political tensions of young people today, where young liberal women do not want to date young conservative men. And I get a lot of angry comments from men who say young women think that they don't want conservative men, but they're wrong. So let's talk for a minute about what it is that women are actually looking for from their partners today. The dating app Hinge just released some data a couple weeks ago talking about what women are looking for from a partner. And they report that the top 3 characteristics of a high-value partner for a woman include being emotionally available, being responsive to and acknowledging their emotional needs, and being a consistent communicator. Women are simply looking for emotional intelligence from their partner. Women were also asked about the expectations they had around financial contributions of a partner, and only 8% of women indicated that they expected their partner to be the sole financial provider in the relationship. The vast majority of women simply expect men to contribute financially to the relationship. So this trope that men need to be the providers in relationships is deeply outdated. Women do not want this big, strong man who needs to be dominant and who provides in the relationship. Women are simply looking for effort, looking for emotional intelligence. They're looking for someone who's going to show up and contribute in the relationship. They don't want to be your mom. Instead of telling women that they're wrong about what they actually want, you should try and listen a little bit harder about what it is that they say. This gets back a little bit to this idea that women want men who are going to value their thoughts, feelings, and opinions. If you don't see women as people, they're not going to want to date you.
So you never give a MAGA man a chance?
No.
No.
Are you a MAGA man?
I wouldn't say I'm MAGA, but I do support conservative values.
Okay.
I agree with the deportations, though.
Wait, you agree that they should be deported?
Yeah, all of them.
Oh.
Illegals. 100%.
Well, everybody's illegal. It's a stolen land.
If he was conservative, would you be able to like date him?
No. What do you mean? I can't date a Republican conservative man. You're talking to a brown woman. You're fucking Palestine then.
You could date a conservative man. It's just like at the end of the day, it's like, do you still believe in the same social issues that I do? What is your main focus and why are you voting for the Conservative Party?
Good thing most women don't want to date Trump voters. Men who love Donald Trump struggle on the dating market.
Oh, 100%. If we see a man who says he's conservative, it is an automatic swipe left. It does not matter what he looks like. And me personally at this point, if I see a man listed as moderate as well, it's usually a swipe left too. Because we all know what that usually means now. I think the fact that conservative men absolutely refuse to listen to women when we try to explain to them why we don't want to date conservative men, and then they choose to proceed to be conservative, and then immediately complain that they're confused as to why women don't want to date them, and they don't know why, is an ironic perfect embodiment of like the lack of critical thinking and self-awareness. You know, like the ability to step outside of your own experience and listen to others, that the Conservative Party embodies as a whole, making a lot of women like me not want to date them. And a lot of this is trending in the news right now because the Conservative Party is about to launch their new dating app called The Right Stuff, in which I'm willing to bet every penny that I've ever made that the usership of this app is going to be about 90% men and 10% women with Lynn as the second part of their name. And I know the immediate complaint is always, y'all are so close-minded to anything, which embodies a lot of irony coming from the right alone. But that's not true. One of my best friends used to be moderate, and our friendship ended for different reasons, kind of. But a lot of his close friends were conservative men, so anytime I would go hang out with him and hang at the house, you know, there were a lot of those guys around. And we'd all hang out and get along really well and talk about a lot of these topics very respectfully, and I really value all the conversations we had because they were great guys to have conversations with. To the point where I almost got drinks with one of them to hang out and catch up not too long ago. But when it comes to a partner or a life partner especially, those things become exponentially more important to have in alignment. At the end of the day, if you're someone who's voting against my rights and my family members' rights, that means that you don't think that we deserve to have the same rights as you. And I would never date someone who doesn't see me and my family members as equals.
There is an epidemic of conservative men trying to bait and switch strong progressive women into being with them. And I know I'm not the first person to talk about this, but I'm just going to share with you a conversation that I had today. So a couple nights ago, I was back on dating apps, and honestly, that's on me. I usually have them turned off, but I was curious. So I took a peek and I matched with a guy and we started talking. And in my bio, I have listed that I have very high standards for men these days. I say that I have worked really hard to build a life that I'm really happy with, and I'm really only interested in meeting men who are willing to meet me on my level. I also have in my bio, absolutely no MAGA. That's the exact wording. I'm very clear about it. So we start talking, and he asks me about these high standards of mine, and I said, well, I could share them all with you, but it might scare you off. And he said, send them to me, I can handle it. So I did, and there are probably 40 items on this list. One of them, by the way, is that I'm looking for a liberal or leftist guy. And some of these things on this list are things that I'm willing to be a little flexible on. Some of them are really hard limits, but they're all things that I'm looking for in my ideal man. So he responds and says, okay, I can agree with you on most of those things. And I said, okay, which things don't you agree with? And he said, oh, it's not that I don't agree. It's just that I have a couple questions on a couple things. And I said, ask your questions. Go ahead. Let's hear them. And he sent me his questions about a couple specific things on the list, and I answered them as fully as I could. And then he sends me this.
Surely you just. What on earth gave you the impression that I was into being a traditional wife? What about my bio? What about everything on that list? What about just the way I've been talking to you, sir? Mind you, this man's bio says that he's the total package.
which I was already heavily skeptical of, but I thought I'd give him the benefit of the doubt, says that he cooks and cleans and takes care of the house and his cat. So it's taken him a whopping 15 minutes to reveal that's a total lie, and that he's looking for someone to do all these things for him. So I tell him that I have zero interest in being a 50s housewife or someone's bang maid. I said that I'm very independent, I own my own home, I have a lot of friends, I have a lot of hobbies. I'm reiterating what I said in my bio at this point, but I said that I'm very ambitious, and that's not what I'm looking for, and I'm more than willing to do half the laundry and half the cleaning and half the cooking, but I want someone who's a true partner. And then this happens. And then he stopped responding, which was a little disappointing. I was kind of interested to see how much farther down his throat he could stick his own foot. But I was disgusted by this. This isn't the only time I've had a guy like this try to dupe me into being with him, and I've gotten faster and faster at sniffing them out pretty darn quickly. But I just never cease to be amazed that these men think, what, we're gonna fall for them and give up all of our goals and standards and ambitions to be with this person, to be with a man? What? I could live 1,000 lifetimes and not want to spend one of them cleaning up after a man. Absolutely not. I am incredibly smart. I am incredibly driven. I have so much going for me in my life. If the choice is between be with someone and cook and clean and do their laundry for them all the time and be on my own, there's no competition here. It's not even a choice. I am perfectly happy on my own. Why would I give that up to be your maid and your mother? Absolutely not. Get out! I don't know what these men are after. I don't know why there are so many of them and why they seem to be increasing in number. I don't know why they think they're being so sneaky. They're not. It's actually quite easy to figure you out and what you're after. I don't know why you think we're going to fall for you, but it's just a really unsettling, pretty disturbing trend that I know many other people have noticed. And yeah, I don't really know what to do about it.
And can you imagine fumbling multiple generations of women all because you think that they shouldn't have bodily autonomy? Multiple dating apps since 2021 have come out saying that women will not date conservative men. Like 55 to 77% of women on their apps say it's a deal breaker. All because these bozos just had to vote for somebody who is found liable for SA. Ladies, I think we can do better with those numbers. And if you agree, make sure to hit all the buttons. Leave a comment if you have also sworn off conservative men.
What is happening is not simply a dating trend. It is a sign of a major cultural shift. Women across the United States are becoming increasingly unwilling to compromise their personal values, rights, or safety simply to maintain a relationship. As a result, voting for Trump is no longer viewed as merely a political decision. For many women, that choice may reflect an ideology that conflicts with the principles they value, such as equality, compassion, and mutual respect in a relationship. These perspectives deserve to be heard because they clearly reveal the boundaries that women today are no longer willing to overlook or continue tolerating. If these stories resonate with you, please like the video, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel, and share it so that this conversation can continue to reach a wider audience. At the same time, click on the video currently appearing on your screen to hear more thought-provoking perspectives that are helping to reshape how we understand relationships in today's society.